Hello, everybody. Welcome to this, our fifth. Oh, no. Oh, gosh, you got to be kidding. So I'm hearing myself because I'm listening to the live and it confused me. So sorry about that. I'm almost, I know I don't need to listen to myself because I could hear myself. And hi, Nikki. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Red Dog Mama. Tina J from Texas. Deb B. Welcome, everybody. Do you remember when I designed the bowl cover while I was live with you guys? Well, this is kind of going to be the same thing. I got one hair going a different direction. So, hi everyone. Welcome to this, our fifth episode of season 2 of Fabrically Speaking. I'm your host, Clare Rowley. I'm the inventor of the Creative Feet line of sewing machine products. And this is a lesson on making not a bowl cozy, but a mug hug. Hi, Cindy from Willows, California. Hi, Creative Art Spark. An anonymous, no, you're not anonymous. Hi, Annie, Facebook user. Welcome, everybody. So I don't know about you, but coffee gets cold relatively quick, especially in the winter. And I'm really not that fond of this type of a mug. Are you? Hi, Bob. So is it still snowy? Is it snowing today? Hey, if any of you need your driveways cleared, Bob Riddle is in Chicago, and he's like the best neighbor. He just clears everyone's driveways. Hi, Janny. And Marcia. I gotta kind of cool down because it seems like there's always something that goes wrong. I should never say that because I don't want that to ever happen. So this is what you're supposed to use when you're going to be going off somewhere, and I love it for traveling and stuff like that. But when I'm home and I get caught up in work, and I prefer a mug in my hand. I just love how they feel in your hand, except for the steam evaporates or dissipates, and then you're left with a cold cup of coffee. And I had used my bowl cozies as a coffee mug, you know, kind of like a coaster, but it kind of came around the sides, but not enough. And so I've been working out this design in my head. So I have been working on it, just not with the actual tactile materials. And you can use all kinds of materials for this. You could even make it out of leather and upholstery fabrics and make a really nice gift for even gentlemen. But I decided to go wild here. And we're using a variety of different materials or things to make this. Hello, Better Days. First, I thought I would share a couple pictures from last week or from viewers from last week and announce that Sharon Lee Kaysen was last week's giveaway winner, and that was her basket or organizer that I filmed last week. I believe that would be the large of the 3 Octahube frames that she used to do that. So congratulations, Sharon Lee Kaysen, and awesome job. She was feeling like she really wanted to get our pearls and piping foot because she had to struggle with the pearls or the piping along the edge. And she won, so guess what? She doesn't have to save her pennies to get our pearls and piping foot. She can use her giveaway. This is Lorinda Leonard, as you see her name, and she did all 3 of the different sizes of the organizers that you can make using our octi hoops. And I kind of giggled as I said that because it doesn't seem like these would help you to actually make something square, but we actually used these as the pattern last week. So I was thinking about not just making this, but I'm a little nervous to do too much today. I may do a little quilting if I succeed at designing this on the fly with you guys. And I thought you might enjoy seeing another of my painted sewing machines. Do you guys like it? And this is, whoops, and this is its free arm cover that goes and surrounds it when you're not as messy as I am. I thought I'd talk for a second about something that's spreading around Facebook that's making people nervous to use the pre-wound bobbins. In fact, Wonderful sent me an email this morning hoping I would help to explain the pre-wound bobbins and why there's no risk to using some of them. Hi, Karen Dean. I almost got your order out. And then I left the room too long and came back and your invoice had erased itself, so I have to redo it. Thank you for ordering all of that thread. Hi, Sandy. Purple. Oh, you got the right color hearts. Oh, the batting is so fuzzy. I want there to be a show where I'm not having batting flying around my eyes, but I love using batting so much. Bobbins don't come in all same sizes. And the ones that we offer at Creative Feet are class 15 bobbins. If you look inside your owner's manual, you'll know whether or not your machine uses a class 15 or maybe an L, or you might use a large one because you have an industrial grade sewing machine to and as long as they're made out of the high quality plastic that you see here and it matches what you're used to seeing come out of your sewing machine, then you know that you're really not at risk of using a pre-wound bobbin, especially the high quality bobbins we offer at creativefeet.com that are produced by Wonderful Thread Company. I never recommend anything that I wouldn't use myself, and I am a certified sewing machine mechanic on multiple different brands of sewing machines. So I'm speaking as a mechanic. There is one bobbin where it's just thread, and somehow they get the thread to be a bobbin shape, and then it unwinds as your machine sews, and that would not be, I would not advise you to use those, nor do I like you to use the paper covered bobbins. Best to use the plastic ones. Now, if you have a Bernina sewing machine and you use a metal bobbin in your machine, and you switch to the class 15 plastic bobbin, it's a lighter weight bobbin, so what will happen is your bobbin tension will be slightly lighter to offset that. You reduce your needle tension just a little bit. And but I've used it in Bernina bobbin or Berninas without any really having to adjust at all. Okay, so I hope that addresses the disturbing conversation that's going on Facebook right now about pre-wound bobbins, and that you can rest assured that the ones that we offer are great and understand better on what bobbins you should be using in your machine. We only offer one size at creativefeet.com, and that's because it is the majority of sewing machines. Should you have one of the others, should you own a machine and you have one of the large industrial bobbins or an older model of the Brother machine where the bobbin is a little bit lower and you want a special order, you can always give us a call and we can order you the bobbins that you need so that you don't have to miss out. It's just, there's only so much product we can carry on our website. And my dog is digging the carpet Do any of you have dogs that dig the carpet to make it softer? And this camera is still a little blurry. I don't know why. I look flushed, and now I can actually see what I look like in another spot, so we don't have any surprises like we did last week. But last week was caused by the frozen tundra of our area. We just had really bad internet, even though we're hardwired. So sorry about how that turned out. And, well, at least the foot is nice and clear. So you'll be able to see me sewing. And I'm going to go above here and switch cameras. I got my brain screwed on a little bit better this week. I went to bed early last night. So I don't know about you, but I think this fabric is crazy, but fun. This is the one I chose to use because I did speak and call this a Be Mine, implying that this has to do with Valentine's Day. I have 2 layers of batting, and I'm choosing to use the bamboo batting. And then this is a piece of fabric that I folded in half, and the size of this is determined really by the mug that you're going to make it for. I will have a pattern for this, and I am going to go further with the design in the pattern. So we'll see how it goes. And you see the fabric was just folded over, and then I trued it up to make it perfect. However, you'll notice that this is stuck to the fabric, and this is what's called Timtex is one brand, and I will have it on my site at some point. In the meantime, look for TEMTEX. And what it is, and what you'll find in the description when people talk about it, is it is a firm batting-ish type of material. Hi, Sammy from Alabama. I love saying Alabama. My best friend who passed away a long time ago was from Alabama, and that's how she used to say it. Hi, Donna DeWitt. She was one of our winners. I can't see who you are, Facebook user. And I barely can read from the distance. Let's just see what you're saying, since we can do that. Oh, you're the winner. Hello, winner. Sharon. Congratulations on your win. Alrighty. So you get to get the foot you wanted. So if you have one of these giant mugs, because I do love a big mug, this is equivalent to a soup bowl. So you could, or a soup size bowl cup. And that I made 13 1/4 by 7 3/4. And basically what we're trying for is we're trying to make it so that your mug can go in and have a lid to keep the steam from coming up. And we need to close up the sides. But if you just have this thin batting going over the mug, that's not very snug, is it? And we want our mug to be warmed or kept cozy. So to make it cozy on the inside, you can add batting to the inside of the other side. Now, this is probably going to cause a problem based on math. If we take and put 2 layers of batting and then we bring this fabric over, because it was the same size as the opposite side, now it's shorter. It's too short. And I knew that was going to happen, but I did it anyway. Let's see here. Move this coffee cup out of the way. So first I need to cut that all the way, and I had not done that yet. So I'm not the only one with a dog that digs their blanket, huh? Better days. I love it when you guys chat with each other. And some of you have actually gotten to know one another inside of the school. If you're not familiar with my school, I will put it in the description after I'm done. I've been really busy working on not just this episode, but a couple episodes ahead of schedule to try to get to where I can be more professional looking when I go live. So I could use this fabric as the inner material, but wouldn't it be more fun to have the inside fabric be a different material? Like solid pink? I love this fabric. I got a whole stack of it, and I believe it's Kona. For those of you who like to know what brands of fabric we're using. And at some point, I'm going to have kits. So you'll know what, you don't have to go shopping for it. I've got so much planned for you guys. I can't wait. More batting fuzz in the air. So the iron turned off a little bit ago. Need to warm it back up again. I hate putting these away. Do any of you have our octahoops and enjoy them as much as I do? I'm always looking for a reason to use them. And I'm running out of places to stick things. I like the pink too, Sandy. But see, now I'm ready with another one to make two. Could have one have that on the inside and the other have the pink on the inside. And you can also use like real nice suede upholstery material and rawhide or leather and make one for a gentleman to use on the desk without risk of having any damage from the mug on the actual desk, having leather be the bottom of it. I'm going to be teaching you how to handle these types of materials, but not today. There's only so much I can do on these live feeds. Oh, that's right. I have something sitting here, and this is a gift from Sandy Young. I can't believe you did this. This is ironing. Oh, you can't see because of the split screen. Because there's some newbies in here. So when you want to iron something and they say iron, it's okay to move the iron around across the material. And when they say press, you push the iron down and lift and move it. Lift and move it rather than spreading it out. When you add moisture to fabric, it does get creases out faster. But we're stretching the fabric a little bit out of shape by doing that. However, I'm not making something that's going to get washed and worn and possibly shrink and be visible. I mean, I probably could wash this. So this came with an envelope. that I have placed somewhere. And it said to open the inside first, so I'm going to open the inside first. And isn't this cool? It'd be fun for me to teach you how to make these gift bags. Would you guys like that? I'm not sure what you recently purchased, Nikki. And Lorinda, your bowls were awesome. You did all 3. And it looks like you probably followed what I said about how far over. This should be easy. How far over to sew, and maybe the smaller bowl ended up being that kind of shape because we should have gone over a little bit smaller on the smaller bowl. It's so exciting. It's very light. Jeez. There we go. Oh, there's hearts on it. My favorite colors. This feels like there's a magnet in it. That'll be good for pins. Aha. But she mentioned something about me losing my glasses, and this must be what it's about. Aw. It's so soft inside. I will switch to this camera so you can see better. It's a little bit too close. Oh, this is really nice. This feels like leather. A perfect place to put. Where are they? There they are. My glasses. I'll tell you what, if you don't see these on the table when I'm filming ever, it's probably because I moved them into my office where I also can never find my glasses. I'm afraid I'll tip this over. I don't need them yet, but there we go. I will be needing them, and now I will know where they are. Thank you so much. It's so sweet. And try not to make too much noise with this. And every time you look at the hearts on your gift, I hope it reminds you that we love and appreciate you as much as you do us. Thank you. I hope this helps you find your glasses during your live shows. Enjoy. Sandra Young, you are such a doll. Okay. Can't cry. Not supposed to do that. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to cut a piece, not this size, but the size for the batting. And remember, I'm designing this as I go. Hi, Gail. Welcome to the feed. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting us and watching our show. Our COVID numbers are starting to come down, so I'm getting hopeful to be able to bring in some people, but my assistant, Michelle, got herself a better job, so I have to find someone brand new. How to make glass case. I actually could come up with a glasses case thing. Absolutely. Gail, I'd be happy to do that. There we go. I'm adding a 1/4 inch to the fabric all the way around. Switch cameras for you. Where'd my cord go? Oh, I have too much on my table. Do you guys ever feel like you have too much on your table? And I am so sorry that I did not get a newsletter out to all the people that are watching this afterward. I'm so sorry. This is why you should join the school, because I was able to tell everyone in the school that I was going live today. This is so cool. So I'm going 1/4 inch wider than the actual batting to add a little bit of room for the fluff of the inside of our pretty much a coffee cup garage. I was trying to come up with all these cute names for it, and one of them was Mug Huggy, except for there's a cookie that somebody created that hangs on the edge of your coffee cup called a Mug Huggy, and I never want to hurt anyone, especially another creative. I was trying to get her information, or I was planning on getting her information, so that you could find her on Etsy. But if you search for Mug Huggy, she's got these heart-shaped cookies that hang on the edge of the coffee cup. Wouldn't that be cool to give this as a gift full of her little heart-shaped cookies? Give a mug with it, or just stick her cookies inside of your mug hug, pretty much mug hug station or mug hug garage, or depending on where you're from, the mug hug carriage. Is that what we say in the UK? I'm so busy. I am. I've created my life to be very busy. So you can see how nice, perfect 1/4 inch. And if I cut it this way, I can still see through the Caterpillar. And this is the Caterpillar Ultra. As always, I'm always thinking about what else I can do to give you more information. I want to make it super fluffy, so I want 2 layers of batting in here. And I want to make sure that the batting itself doesn't come apart or shift. So first person to guess, Mug Hug Rug. Mug Rug Hug? Mug Huggy. I think it's a Huggy. In my mind, it's even fluffier than this. I'm trying to find my glue. Okay. We're going to go ahead and use the liquid-based glue. Everybody's got too much stuff. Oh, I feel for some of my customers. Some of my students. Sandy's one of them. Sandy went from, what should I say, 4,400 square foot house to a how many square foot cabin, Sandy? I love the word cabin. Makes me want to go visit you. You're in Maine, right? If I remember correctly. I'm starting to get to know you guys better. So I just did little dots of our water-soluble stabilizer in a bottle. And then you can position it so it's in a proper position. And this is how I would do a quilt as well, by the way. Of course, it wouldn't be 2 layers of batting, or it could be if you want. Because I have quilted... nothing. This is the sound of everything falling. I have quilted with 4 layers of batting with our octahoops and the back and the top. And I know I've had people ask me how to quilt something smaller, and this is how you do it. You make it so the batting and the backing is bigger, and then you can lay a whole bunch of different smaller tops on top and quilt through them, and then afterward cut, and it makes it a lot easier to work with the octahoops. I don't know if I just put glue on that. That's what I get for talking too much. Hi, Karen. So she must have said how small. 300 square feet. I know. That's amazing. I think it's just amazing. As I get older, I have been reducing the amount of stuff I have. Although you'd never know it by the looks of my table. I didn't say I'm reducing the amount of sewing stuff I have. I'm reducing other things. really prioritizing what it is that I have to keep track of. So gentle sliding across, and then as you bring it down, instead of just flopping it down, I bring it down like I'm putting shelf paper in on a shelf. And now these two battings will behave as one. I didn't get that corner. This fabric looks so pretty on that shot. It is the most important that it is held across the perimeter. So I go across. This is how I make my fingers always look dirty. I really got to reposition that camera. There we go. Sorry I couldn't get one made before in each stage. That would make us go faster. This is the bamboo batting that we carry at creativefeet.com. It's a product produced by Winline Textiles, and it is made in the United States, for those of you who are wondering. So we never had to worry about running out of it because of COVID, because it's made in the United States, like the Creative Feet is. They're good friends of mine, the owners, Luann and Bob, I believe. My name recognition is not good enough for me to throw names around like that. They have another batting that we will be adding to our new Creative Feet site that's coming up soon. Okay, so now what is holding the batting to the pink fabric is just static cling. I haven't glued that yet, but I'm going to, because it's just so much easier on yourself to have it secured at least around the perimeter. Now I'm just kind of dragging it, slide my finger across. Why do I drag my finger across? So that it doesn't end up, if you have like a blob of glue on there and you walk out of the room, then it's harder for the needle to go through there. I need to figure out where to put these. Put it in the cup. It is so sweet. I'm keep on smiling. You can't see right now, but I keep on smiling, Sandy. Hi, Donna. What did you say? You love the glue? Okay, so I have to look at the screen bigger to see this. You used the glue because the lens of your glasses fell off. Oh my gosh. So it just kind of held it while you screwed it back in. I wouldn't trust this to keep it in there permanently, and nor would I recommend you do that, because you can ruin your lenses with glue. I know, because I've done it. Yes, Sandy, this is the batting with Scrim. And for those of you who don't know what that means, Scrim is something that is built into it they actually build, because you know why batting's always flying through the air? Because it's not a solid sheet. It's a bunch of fuzz, and they stitch through it with needles. It's kind of like felting. Okay. Oh my God, that's just so smart. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my goodness. Noisy iron. Okay. Oh, that is just perfect. Now I don't have to worry about it. I love it even more. Oh my God. Okay. So the batting we have has Scrim in it. And then they have another one that does not have Scrim, and we haven't released that one yet because I need to give you guys like instructions on how to use it. But it is awesome. Okay. So not only does it keep, oh, look at that. It holds it so well. You think a sewer would line this? It's so cool. Oh, look. The needle won't go on there with the thing on there. I'm sure some science expert would know why. My son would know. My little brainiac. Where did the... Oh, no. My Grabbit fell on the floor. And thank goodness the pins are stuck to it. Okay, now I'm just rambling. So we're going to go ahead and continue securing all. I think it's secured. No, this side we didn't do. So you can see how good that holds. Where'd that go? Okay. So I take it you knew that, Sandy, when you bought this. Almost done going around the perimeter here. It reminds me of something I used to do when I was a child, and I can't recall. Does anyone else remember? I think it was that rubber glue that they used to have with a little pink rubber nib on the top. I was always doing arts and crafts, so could have been anything. So we've got glue now between all three of these layers, and we can sew these fabrics together. I'm just not sure how. I don't think that turning this right side out like we did when we made these last week, I don't think that it would be good for it to be turned inside out. But I'm tempted to do that because it would be the easiest way. However, one of the really neat things about my Satinedge foot is that we can stitch on the raw edge of the material and go all the way around with thread. Oh, we can also do something else. But the whole point of this is also to sew it. Pink side on the inside. I think I should use the Satinedge foot. This is me designing on the go here, you guys. Sorry that I'm not already ready with the information you need to make this. That must not be the one I did, because it's not the right size. There we go. So normally we would take and we would sew wrong sides together. Not really, because we have a lining. But we would make the box and then make the box and then insert the box inside. And I probably should do that. You think I should just go around the edge, Sharon? But we still have to have a seam. And I didn't get to do it first, so... Chair got really noisy. Last time I sat on it, I don't remember it squeaking and stuff, so I don't know if you can hear it. You agree with Sharon? So should I just next, I'll come up with a better pattern and just do this one like a little garage. Have it just flip over. Could connect it with some pretty cording, but we do have to have something to keep it from just falling forward. Nothing like going live and not knowing what you're gonna do. I'm brave. The whole idea of this, though, the secret is the part that makes it Valentine-y is that you can have your cell phone actually be on top of this as well and have pictures or videos of your loved ones on top of it. Do you still want me to just wing it, or my brain's going? Yeah, but that's just like a pad then, you guys. You have to come up with an idea for how to secure it. I need to make it a little bit boxy on the sides. But I did not give myself enough fabric to do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to go around, and if this is going to be my top, if this is the case, then I have to cut off that extra 1/4 inch that I gave it. I could use some big beads to go around the top and not even think about guys getting it. And the big beads might actually do one day I'll let you guys look in my drawer. Any big beads? Big beads. If I were a big bead, where would I be? I moved things around. It's different now that I don't do shows. I could use a rat tail cording and go around and show you how to use a blanket stitch instead of beads. Leave just one corner open. Have it be like a what it is I just didn't make it wide enough. Unless I add some to it and just add another layer of material, which I so happen to have. You want to come organize? Sandy wants to come clean up my space. I've been really having so much fun organizing. It's just, we had several moves and shows and not doing shows anymore, and going live every week doesn't leave a lot of time. Should we make it boxy? I was thinking more fluffy and cozy. This is it. You guys are helping me design a pattern. So if we want to make it stand up, we definitely have walls. And this is kind of what I was thinking. It needs to have strength on the sides for a cell phone to sit on top of it. I love organizing too. It just doesn't seem like it. This is when other educators would be going, look at her, she doesn't even know what she's doing and she's live. She's crazy. Okay. I didn't cut 2 pinks, did I? Could be a double-decker, a 2-car garage, a 2-cup garage. I'll just kind of talk a little bit while I do this. One of the things I was working on was testing wool irons or ironing pads, and the gentleman that sent me samples is gonna not be happy to hear that I have no desire to use a wool pad. And the reason is that it's made of an animal fur, and when you use steam, it smells really bad. Do any of you have the felt ironing pads? And have you experienced that strong odor? I almost got nauseous. I mean, I did get nauseous. Because I was testing to see if you shot steam through it, if it would be moist on the bottom, and it was drenched. It just, the water went right through, and it would not work on one of our pads, on one of our Caterpillar pads. That doesn't mean I've given up on making something like that, though. So I have plans for that. And it won't be next week's episode because I'm probably going to keep it on Valentine theme and do something else Valentine-y. I have plans for a heart, you know, the candy boxes that are shaped like a heart. So if you don't have one, there's a reason to go out and get one before they're sold out. So next week you can use your heart-shaped candy box to follow along with me. Yeah, I was like, oh, I can get a really big felt mat and just lay it right on top of this and iron. And like I said, I feel just terrible that I did not approve of the concept. But, you know, I have a really sensitive sniffer, and it was just the worst smell ever. Worse than a wet dog coming in from the rain. It was more like a wet lamb coming in from the rain. Let me see if I can see what you guys are saying. Can't see. Yeah, so part of what I wanted to do, Sandy, is I want to put vinyl on the bottom one so that if you were to spill the coffee as you're putting it in, and then I'm like, well, you kind of need it on the top as well. So on the inside of the top and the bottom, I planned on putting vinyl, which I had here somewhere. Sandy's like, see, I need to come there and organize her. What's really silly is I had it right here. I have not gotten up, so it should not have disappeared. And you need a big enough piece of vinyl. This is our cover up. And it is a different type of vinyl than if you were to get, if you have that clear, that really clear stuff that you get. If you have the really clear vinyl, the problem with it is it's sticky. So when you put your coffee cup in, you might spill it just from pulling it out. Whereas this one is slippery. Another reason to get our cover up, which comes in colors as well, but it's the clear that's not sticky. Okay, so here we go. Now we definitely have enough to build a box or a garage for this mug. Now I just need my brain on. And if this is going to be the inside, this is more along the lines of what my brain wanted to do in the first place, was to have a kind of like a roof that goes up the top with walls that keep it stable so you can put your cell phone on top. I just need to go into bowl cozy mode. How would a bowl cozy be made? But this is not the same. This is stiff and it's not fusible on this side. So I'm going to put some of the glue on there. Yeah, you could use anything you want. You could even use Tupperware if you want and insert some stability into there instead of throwing away your plastic containers that you buy ready-made soup and salads in. My daughter's always looking at me funny because I save some of the weirdest things. Speaking of that, this is my lunch, which is a protein shake, and it's in an old Starbucks cup because these are perfect size for my hand. And I should drink some of this so I can think straighter. Okay, if I were a mug, it actually probably is the right size to, maybe we just do a satin stitch on the front and sew up the back sides. If it were an octagon shape, or not an octagon shape, but a rectangular, if I could just make the inside. I feel like giving up, but I won't. So you can remember where I put that if I look for it. Okay, if I try to make it so you guys can see me plot this out. If I were to cut off this angle like we did with the octi hoops before, and it's cut off, and then I bring this piece to this and sew a seam, so we can clip to test. Take a deep breath and realize that you guys love me. Need it bigger. And this is kind of how the designing process goes. You kind of fudge it as you go. Sometimes I can work it through in my head completely and then just cut things and it's perfect, but not today. Plastic cutting boards. I'm trying to think of what would be the need for that thick. But then I haven't tested this in reality yet. I think we're getting there. We want an open front, which is what makes this different than everything else we've done this way. It needs to be the walls, and remember this is the inside, so this is what will wrap around it to keep the sides of the cup warm. So we really need it to be a snugger fit. So we'll come up even more. And I'll be making a pattern, just so you know. One where you can cut it out and not have to fudge around like this. But hey, you get to see the design process. Now we're talking. That's more like what I was seeing. And we're going to come down straight. Always want to make sure you leave a little bit extra just in case. And now we want a roof. Every time I say roof, I hear my daughter go roof, because she says roof instead of roof. So we have a lid, and we could cut off, and we could make, we could have the lid, it'd be going this way. Are we starting to like it? There you go. You know what it was? Is I was picturing a lid that opens and closes. I'm pretty sure this will be enough to hold a cell phone. Maybe not a tablet. Are you guys excited for me? I feel like you are. All right, I'm gonna stitch. And whenever I'm designing a pattern from scratch like this, I use a long stitch length and a light tension, like 0 on the tension and 5 on the length, so I can rip it out real easy. Before I go to the sewing machine, I'm going to fold that and try to get a crease in it. This is when an iron would be good. But my pressers, bad behavior. Is my daughter crafty? I think that my daughter is going to end up doing a lot more crafty things. She's been a photographer for years, a wedding photographer, an adventure wedding photographer to be exact. I got to turn the machine so I'm at least a little bit centered with the needle, as you should always be centered with your sewing machine needle. Blurry. This is the Satinedge foot that I'm using, but you could use a walking foot if you want, or any other sewing machine foot that you may have. I got to make sure I didn't just mess it up. This is the side that has the crease. There's the crease. Now the foot is leaning down. There's like this sweet spot for focus. Now every time I can't find something, I can hear Sandy going, I could be organizing for you. But you live in Maine. You can't even be any further away from me in the United States, I think. Put the vinyl on first. Problem is I don't have the right size vinyl handy. I can make another one. So what I'm going to start doing is I have the live Fabrically Speaking show, and then there's going to be the projects of Fabrically Speaking. So I will be filming a short version of each real quick lessons for you guys. For those that are frustrated watching me go on and on and on, as they say. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she talked for 3 hours. So I'm going to lift the foot and level it out and place some batting back here. But usually I would have the same thing, the fabric as well. Straight stitch, tension 0, and the length, the longest my machine will sew. Sorry for all the beeping. And that levels out the foot and makes it so that it can write over all of these thicknesses. Oh, I should have changed the needle. I can hear it cutting through the fabric. I haven't used this machine since a few shows ago. I have no idea what year I used it, but I did oil it today. And, oh, look at that. It didn't sew because there's no bobbin in there. Anyone laughing at me? I give you permission. Usually when I throw a needle away, I actually put it into some fabric like that before I toss it in the trash. Of course, fabric like that is not trash to a lot of you. There's no such thing as fabric trash. I don't have a lot of bobbins that way. Bobbins in here. How many bobbins do you guys have? How many sewing machines do you have? Go ahead and show off in the feed. I want to see how many machines you guys have. It's time to brag. I don't have a pink bobbin. Do I have an orange? Oh, I'll use orange. How to make an embarrassing video. Go live while you have, before you design something. Every once in a while, someone will say something like, I'm not trying to be mean, but you should really be ready before you go live. I'm like, it is my goal. And I'm using the universal. However, I think the super universal is a better option for this because we're going through 4 layers of batting here. Those are all just universals. Where's my super? Next time I talk to you on the phone, Sandy, I'm gonna say every time I can't find something, now your voice is in my head. Remember, if you can't remember what needle you're using, and this is a brand new needle, so if I only use it for a minute, then we use this glue, this tacky poster tack, which of course I don't have handy because I've been using it for a lot of different things. Getting cameras to sit right. Stuff is amazing. You can use it anytime you need something to, like for instance, if this were to not stay closed, you can just take it like that and put it in there and now it'll stay closed. I love this stuff. So this is what I do. Put some tack on the back of needles and then stick the needles somewhere. So this is it looks like gum. And then you can stick it like right here. Just remember you put it there because that's like a hiding place. I can't see that from the front. I may forget it's there. So I'm going to stick it where I can see it. And this is the super universal needle. And they also have the term non-stick in the title of the needle, but the overall design of this needle is what makes it super duper. So you're less likely to skip a stitch with this. I really should have sewn on this machine because they get shipped around. And one more. It's like take 2. I had one of these already made. I had mine in it. It was always by my machine. Another thing to make. How do you say your name? Is that Grace Ann? Grace Ann Westcott Fuller. Welcome to my show. All right, so what I have is a 0 tension, and the length of the stitch is a 5, and we're building something as we go. You're watching me design a pattern that all I did was test it in my brain, and it's based on kind of like the bowl cozies. I've been using a bowl cozy for my coffee cup in my bathroom, actually. And so while I'm getting ready, the coffee gets cold. And one time I took this coaster that I made and put it on top of my coffee cup. And hey, it stayed warm a lot longer. So that's what we're doing here is we're trying to make it so a coffee cup can stay hot longer. I should just measure over. You really should use your measuring devices. Remember, we're just designing right now. And I'm sitting beside my machine instead of in front of it. Another thing you should never do. This is the don't do it as I'm doing it. Do it as I'm telling you. So there we have this nice little square-ish front end, kind of like a garage. Put the cup right in. And there's something in that cup. Sorry I'm all fuzzy. I don't look fuzzy on the inside here. I need a bigger TV screen to look at so I can know, because my eyesight's not that good. So I'm gonna, if I thought this through, see, even though we have not yet sewn, or even though I've already sewn something, I can still install a piece of this just for the bottom by folding this over and just making a small seam, which I may do, because having a vinyl on the bottom would make it so that I know that when I put my coffee cup down, when the coffee did spill over the side, that it became stuck to the fabric, and I would try to take my coffee cup off the fabric itself, and it was stuck. So, and this way you could just wipe it out with a damp washcloth. I think I'm finally getting how the cameras all work, though. I at least try to accept the upholstery machine. It has a round leather belt, and I cannot find any instructions. I don't have a leather sewing machine to teach you, but there are some gentlemen on YouTube that have regular shows, weekly shows, showing you how to do things with leather machines, and one called the Sailrite machine. So if you search in YouTube Sailrite, you might find them, and they're pretty good. Maybe one day. That sounds like my past, because I used to set up factories. You could always call me if you have a specific question, but I can't necessarily. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good fit. I'm still deciding on exactly how I'm going to sew this final thing together. And now that this is the inside of the garage for the coffee cup. Forgot which camera I had on. Trying to figure out where to be so you can see me. There we go. It's actually a good size for sewing it this way. And this way the walls aren't vinyl. But if I fold it over like this and I sew like a 1/4 inch down here, then inside it'll be a seam. Or I could go like this. Yeah, the Sailrite machine is like a home version of an industrial walking foot machine. They're pretty cool. You can do a lot with them. Yeah, I'm thinking if we go sideways with it, then we have it, the vinyl also on the walls. What do you think? Should I put vinyl on the walls and the bottom, or just the bottom? Thumbs up for doing that, or you guys can make a comment. There's barely anyone in here from Facebook today. Another thing I could do is just take it apart now that I know that it's going to fit. Is the right height. Never quit when you feel like quitting. This is what I decided to do, right? Oh, it is. And come down like that and down like that. The best way to do that. I'm going to put the vinyl in there so I can stop thinking about it. And I can go back over the seam allowance with a shorter seam allowance now. But I really don't think this is going to be an area that's strained. And this, what to do with this? If we turn it right side out, we've got this bulky fabric. If it goes on the sides, does it add stability? This is why I shouldn't line it first. Now that we know that this is going to be the inside though, and then when I turn it right side out, oh my gosh, my brain is tired already. Anyone else's brain tired? I need to just unsew this, put this on, and then I'll have no bottom only. Don't do that. Especially if you didn't use a universal needle. If you use a sharp needle, you can cut your fabric. So the right way to do this would be to determine which one is the bobbin thread. And the bobbin thread is what you pull. I had 0 tension on here. I'm waiting for this to come in to focus. Kind of hard to see that. So there is a peach or orangish thread there, and that's the bobbin because I used lavender on top. And you can just pull real easily because I use 0 tension on that. And then there's the needle thread, and you just pull the needle thread right out. And now I have kind of like a little guideline to know where to stitch. I glued this though. Oh, I didn't glue that side. Yay! Make a note. And now we can go ahead and we can take the vinyl and insert the vinyl in the middle. Now this is what happens when you own the place. You get the scraps with tape on it. You'll get a nice clean roll of our cover-up if you buy our vinyl. Rotary cutters. This is when I wish I could hear your voices talking. I'm still not willing to give up that 1/4 inch seam allowance just in case I need it. Somebody asked what iron I like earlier, and while I like lots of irons, I tend to break them. In case you can't tell, things fall on the ground, and I've broken several irons. The only one that has not broken, despite being dropped, is the Sunbeam iron. And I think they were one of the first irons on the market to begin with, so maybe they have a lot of experience with people dropping irons. Another thing that I like about it is it has a really long cord. It does turn off and it does make noise. So now I have the vinyl going across the center, and we can double check that by folding it over, kind of pressing. Make sure that your vinyl is also folded in half and bring it to the middle. And when I did the bowl cover for Christmas in season 1 of Fabrically Speaking, someone asked if you could glue the vinyl down, and I said I wouldn't suggest it. I don't think it'll work, and it does. I ended up using it. But you want to make sure you don't smear it everywhere, because unless you wash this, it's not going to come off. Of course, it's clear. So just a little bit. And don't pin it, whatever you do. If you use pins, P-I-N-S, pins, you will end up poking holes in the vinyl, and the vinyl will no longer be a waterproof seal on the bottom of your bowl, your mug, hug. We will get the name of this down. Yes, we will. Ooh. Okay, brain. What do we want to do? We know where we have to sew. We're going to make 2 versions of this. And that is to bring this up again. So it's going to be on the bottom and the back. Seems like a good location. And we're going to sew on the batting. And once again, I am not going to sew without using 0 tension, just in case. 0 tension, And even though the stitch length is 5 long, because of the thickness of the fabric, it will appear as if I used a really short stitch length. My thread was preventing me from sewing. There we go. You guys still there? We all talk to ourselves. It's a sign of intelligence. Did you know that? So if the vinyl were the right length, then this would be even better. I think I'm gonna try this. Using the Satinedge Foot, it has a guide, and I have the guide all the way to the right. So it's not a specific seam allowance, but now you can see the foot tips to the side. So what do you think you should do if the foot tips to the side? You give it something to put its little arm on. And then when you lower it, it's now level. Left needle position. And my machine, as with most of yours, if you have computerized machines, you now lost your settings. You no longer have zero tension. And you no longer have the longest stitch length. So now you need to change it. So if that ever happens to you, that's why my machine settings are always written in steps. And the steps, if you follow them, will ensure that you don't erase what you've already entered into your machine. So if you have the Creative Feet Technical Guide and Workbook, you start at the top of the page and work your way down. If you use a ruler, you're less likely to go out of order or out of sequence. See, you should cut your tails. I tend not to do that. Oh, all these things I should not do. My pressure was still tight, so I've just reduced it, and now it can take it through. We're going through 4 layers of batting and 2 layers of material and a piece of vinyl. It's a lot, but this is not a big fancy machine. You can see where it's missed right in here. So this is why it's better to buy the larger vinyl, but we can also maybe I just need to go a little bit further this way. When all said and done, I'll have a pattern for you guys to print out. That didn't sew, or I pulled it right out. Try that again. I can tell it's not going in there. The vinyl's not far enough over. Bye, Bob. I'll let you all know when the pattern is done. And I'm so sorry that I am doing this on live. However, I was going to say something apparently. I was going to say, however, better that I show up, right? If we're a weekly show, the temptation was to not show up, was to put a little thing up. Sometimes I see people who have regular live shows, and they have a note up saying, we're not going live today. And I'm trying to never do that to you guys. So now I'm going to go ahead and fold this under again. And try to make sure I'm going to catch the vinyl. And this is me making it probably wrong because I'm not using the right size vinyl. It needs a crutch. So be looking for the Projects of Fabrically Speaking, a new series of videos that will be edited. There won't be any live chat, no prizes, but I'll probably do premieres, which is something that you guys can watch with me live, should you have questions while we go live. So now we have a inside of the garage lined with vinyl. Kind of caught. This one will be mine. And now we want to build the same thing, but however, better word. The dog is digging the carpet again. I don't know why. She has like the most cushy chair I have ever given her. I'm always here on your Thursdays. You know, it's kind of like we have a little coffee date, except for there's no coffee. There could be. Every Thursday, and it means a lot to me as well. It's kind of like I always know on Thursday that no matter what's going on in the world, that I get to hang out with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm recognizing regular names and then new people coming in. Know that all of them will be on my YouTube channel and inside of my Facebook page. I'm going to go ahead and sew with normal tension on this and normal stitch length because I'm thinking I got it. And the reason I know what I'm doing is because I already sewed it once, and so I know where to put it to sew it again. Why are you not just climbing up your stairs and sitting on your cushy chair? She's at my feet. Oh, she went. I was going to pick her up so you guys could see her, but she's too fast for me. Tinkerbell is out the door. I should be tying this off. I would if I had an actual pattern and wasn't making a pattern right now. So now we take and put right sides together. And you do that by flipping. And I would normally cut those big floppy seam allowances. This is another area where my brain gets tired. This is the inside. There we go. And why it's more challenging for me this time is because we have an open front end, and normally when I do things like this, I don't have one end open. She's actually a miniature Yorkie Jack Russell Terrier mix. So she's trouble. That's what she is. Trouble in a fursuit. So if you're asking if my videos will be on YouTube, yes. This video will just be live after I'm done. So now what we want to do is we want to go all the way around the perimeter and secure the outside and the inside of this particular part, which is the inside of the garage for your coffee cup. I think this camera just needs to come back further. Too close. Here we go. So we want right sides together. Pretty much sloppy seam allowance to sloppy seam allowance. The camera does not like this color. And I use the clips to hold the seam allowances so they're lined up with one another. And I will decide before I'm going to kind of see if my cup will fit. I'm going to do that now. Is the cup going to fit? I think we're pretty much safe to cut this big seam allowance away. And you should do this with a large scissor because you'll hurt small scissors this way. But I'm not going to take it all the way to quarter. I'm going to leave it about a 1/2 inch. Don't even really need to do anything with the single layer of material. Can just leave it like that because it's really not going to cause any trouble. I'm going to do the same thing on this side now, leaving about 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. Now I have little crutches for the foot for the rest of it. And I usually set myself up with a place to turn it right side out so that I don't forget. And to do that, since I'm going to use clips all the way around, I'm going to put 2 clips right here so I know this is the side that I'm going to leave open for turning right side out. And then you just kind of pick where do you want to start. So I'm going to start right next to that. And I am going to open up that seam because it's less bulk beneath the foot. You guys can be quiet. It's okay. Loretta's got some good boys. They got her a coffee cup warmer. And those are really neat. You put your coffee cup on top of it. So I like to use mine on my bathtub, and so electricity is not really advisable. I should use a left needle position. And I have the foot set for a 1/4 inch distance between the guide and the sewing machine needle. Making sure I catch the batting. I'm going to stop with the needle down. I don't do that very often. People go, oh my God, you lowered the needle. That's how rarely I do it. It's still sitting there going, we got to attach the roof and the walls to this somehow. So we're designing on the go here. Use red clips. That's good. Use a specific color like stop. So you can see I'm not really being consistent with where I'm guiding. Just pretending it's a regular foot right now. Just making sure I catch the batting. Leaving myself a little extra room, and I have this 1/4 inch seam allowance here, which I thought I was going to need to cut off, but didn't want to cut it unless I was sure. So this is me designing a pattern and making sure I don't end up having to cut it all over again. Sewing while reading, trying to read. Oh, I left that up for so long. I like my coffee hot. My daughter likes her coffee not hot. She has a sensitivity to heat and cold with her hands. So I was going to call this the mug cubby. And since I love helping other creatives, when I looked, because I didn't want to violate anyone's copyright or trademark, because the design that's in my head I think could be sold on Etsy or a product made to be sold in stores. So I stopped and left that open. But if you search for mug Huggies, Hubby, you'll find cookies that hang on the side of your coffee cup. And they have hearts for Valentine's Day. So now I'm going to turn this right side out. And I take my thumb, my middle finger's all the way to the corner, and then I take my thumb and then pull out. To get it nice and clean. Do the same thing out here, kind of like when you turn a pillowcase right side out. It's easier if you grab the corners of a pillowcase before you turn it inside out, in case you didn't know that. It looks like a mess. What a mess. What a mess. Oh. Oh, that's because the vinyl was not the right size. Should have just made it without the vinyl this time. There will be a pattern, so you'll know how big to make it. So this is like the inside, and this is the firm outside. So we'll be attaching this to this and making a garage outer partition of it. And this is me not knowing what words to use because I'm still thinking how to do this the best way. Sometimes I think I should just give up and not keep doing it live. But what fun would that be? I could just cheat and do the satin stitch all the way around and stitch it. I'm going to take this vinyl first and stitch it in. Get it inside of there. Come on, fingers. I hope you're not getting bored. No one's writing anything. I used my glue to put this together. Where's that vinyl? Ah, I'm taking the vinyl out, you guys. There will be a pattern and there will be vinyl. But that's just too much for me right now. Let's see. Now we'll just straight stitch that closed with an edge stitch. An edge stitch is a stitch that's on the edge of something. And the foot on this sewing machine is my Satinedge foot. To make this look uniformed, instead of going just over the area that is stitched or that I'm needing to stitch closed, I could go all the way around. However, this is the inside of something, so no one's going to see it. I'm going to reverse to secure the stitch. And now that's closed. And now to attach the walls to the inside. It almost is like, this is like a cool little tent for little dolls for your granddaughters or grandchildren. This will have more body if I do the same thing I did. It's too late. How do we test while we design a pattern? We stitch or we clip it. And what I'm testing here is to see if I still need it to go down to the bottom. If you ever wonder if you're crazy, do something like this, then you can know, yes, I am a little bit brave, maybe, to do this live. Or am I crazy? You guys tell me. Which one is it? Because the satin stitch foot is so pretty around the edge of anything, and I can always add more satin stitching afterward, even if I cut the shape of this to be a better fit afterward, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stitch all the way around the perimeter of this with this Satinedge foot. Using a 40 weight thread, this is going to be the right side. This will be the wrong side. They're almost identical. And this is the actual foot. Let's see. Get zoomed in here. And last week we had someone that realized that their guide was bent. The Satinedge foot has this little nut, and as you turn it, it moves this whole guide, and on that guide is a wire. So you'll see it start to travel across the zigzag opening. And that's what it looks like on the bottom. It's designed with a deep channel that allows you to build thick threads over it. Oh, I was going to do something else. It attaches to any sewing machine. All I need is a zigzag stitch. Comes packaged like you see here with 4 snap-on adapters, the foot itself, and an instruction booklet that allows you to open it and reclose it. You'll select from one of the adapters that we have in the kit and then snap it onto the foot. And if you have a Bernina machine, you'll use a Bernina low shank adapter in addition to what's in our package, as we do show you inside of the instructions. Bernina adapter is a metal part that allows you to attach the foot onto your machine. And you can also get a Bernina snap-on adapter. This is a Bernina snap-on adapter. If you have the newer version of the Bernina. And then our feet will snap right onto that. So if you have a snap-on foot on your machine, the first thing you do is try to snap it onto your machine's snap-on adapter. If it doesn't snap onto your machine's snap-on adapter, you'll select from one of our feet or our adapters to attach it to your sewing machine. They're guaranteed to fit your sewing machine or your money back, and warranted for life, even if your dog chews it up. As long as he spits out the foot, we give you new foot. We give you a new foot. So Valerie, did you have something? You did something wrong? Did you hurt your foot? Oh, you bent your foot. Oh, didn't I already send it to you? Say yes, Valerie, if I did send it to you. If not, you need to email me at info@creativefeet.com. info@creativefeet.com. And we will arrange to send you a new guide, and you'll take the old one off and put the new one on. We're warranted for life, even if you're the one that damages it. We don't even ask questions. There was a husband that actually cooked them on the stove. So what I'm going to do now is select the zigzag width that I want to use. I need to drink a little of this protein drink here. Well, that's out of focus. Don't look at the foot right now. It'll make you dizzy. Is that the closest I can get? Yeah. Okay, gotta drink some of my lunch. This has blueberries in it and banana and Dr. Gundry protein powder. and vegetables. So I'm choosing the width of my stitch, bring my needle down, let it swing left and right. And I think I'm going to go wider. Your sewing machine is what limits you on how wide of a zigzag swing you can do with the Satinedge foot. If the needle is going to hit the clear part of the foot, do not use that width. Go narrower. And then bring the wire over to the needle. And this may make you nervous the first time you do it. Did anyone else get nervous the first time you used the Satinedge foot to do a satin stitch and had that wire in the middle of the needle area and think, so scary? Dr. Gundry is great. Yes, he is, Valerie. It was one of my students at the Phoenix show that showed me his information. Quite educational. So what I'm going to do before satin stitching all the way around, short, I'm going to do it a little bit longer stitch length, and that's because my fabric is not all attached. So I'm going to go around more than once. I could just use a straight stitch. I'm just going to use a straight stitch. So you'll get a recap of how to set up the foot for a zigzag in a minute. Now if I had this all glued or fused and I didn't have so much stuff on my table, I'm driving Sandra crazy with my disorganized appearance here. You were scared, Sharon? Did any of you put beads on your bowl from last week? That's what I want to know, because that takes... Yes, it's the reds. The vital reds are inside of my shake, Sandy. Oh, we're all on Dr. Gundry. Come down to the corner, stop with the needle down, and that's because I have a straight stitch. This gives me the opportunity to make sure my fabrics aren't shifting. Lower the foot. And we're just securing all these layers. Right sides out, you guys. I'm not driving you crazy? Well, that's good, because I wouldn't want to do that too. I'm also sitting completely wrong, or inappropriately. I should be directly in front of my machine. I have the camera set so you guys can see better. So that's just held on with glue. I just pulled it off because I didn't glue it perfectly. I sew better when I don't talk. If I didn't sew when I talked, I wouldn't ever sew because I'm never stopped talking. I gotta go a little bit further. There we go. Zoom, zoom, zoom when you got it right. Remember, this is our roof. We don't want puckers. So take your time. Don't pull from the back. It's a very common automatic thing that people do. I should just stop and glue this better. So I'm just kind of using my fingernails to kind of push the fabric under there. Now if I had it glued all the way, I wouldn't need to do that. But I think I've made you wait so long for this video. Come down to the end. Needle down. Donna, did you make the bowls and you're going to put beads on the edge? I hope you'll share it in the school. And I'm so thankful for all of you that are starting to share your pictures. It means so much to me. And to the chickens that are afraid to even start. So this is just securing all 3 layers together, and the bottom layer is fused, so that one's easy. You can see the backside. Oh, look how pretty that camera is. And I'm blurry on the other one. It's supposed to be tracking my face, and it's not doing a good job. I think it's tracking the heart behind me or something. But if I have it not track my face and I focus it right here, sometimes it goes out of focus as well. Next week, I will try something different. These are my upholstery cutting scissors. Oh, I don't need this light on. Save your light. Okay, now I'm going to do the machine settings all over again. Now I want to actually cover up that stitching that you see there with a zigzag stitch, and I want it to be short. And I could do that, or I could use cording. I'm just going to do this. So choose the width of your stitch, a zigzag stitch first, and all of the instructions are written down for you in the instructions. Then you bring the needle down. So think of this finger as the needle coming down, and you turn the hand wheel until the needle swings left and right. And when the needle is in the right swing of the zigzag stitch, you move the wire over to the needle. And it actually is supposed to touch. So when I say in the instructions, until the needle touches the left side, or until the wire touches the left side of the needle, I actually mean it. I wasn't just saying it. So I have people go, oh, you really meant touch? You want that metal bar to touch that metal sewing machine needle? Yes, we do. Now adjusting the stitch length is done while the machine is in motion, but without your hands down on the fabric. I put my hand beneath the fabric to kind of cradle it, and I allow the sewing machine to do the feeding, shortening the stitch until I get the desired look. And then you just floor it. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that it stays in contact with the white part of the guide. I'm not steering it. I'm not making sure it doesn't move. I'm just making sure it's always touching. So in this camera, you can see my hand positioning is gently, without pushing down at all, because if you push down, you can cause it to not feed. And I'm currently at a 0.3 stitch length, and I'm using the lightest foot pressure on my machine. Are you guys picking on each other? Oh, I called you chicken. Oh, I thought I might have time to use the octaves. That was silly. It's almost 4. Now you know what goes into designing a pattern. And I really should have shaped it. Shape the lid before wasting all this thread. I have enough. Now when we turn a corner, we're going to go all the way to the corner. And notice I run the machine a little slower. And so all the way off the edge. Or to the actual edge. And now I leave the needle in the raised position. So you can see the fabric actually lifts up with the foot. So I pull off the wire and then plant my finger so I'm not increasing the length of thread. And it's not normally this challenging, it's just this is really thick. So if you want to make placemats and you want to just use the Timtex, this is a great mouse pad. If you still use a mouse, which I do. You love the colors. I'm so glad you do. Hola. I can't see very well. I'm so glad you're all joining me today. Now I'm going to turn the hand wheel. Just because I can't see the wire, even though I invented it, I get a little nervous because if I can't see it. But you're going to notice that the foot doesn't want to feed. And that's because it has this thickness to go up and over. How you offset that is not by pushing or pulling the fabric through, but increasing stitch length instead. So now I'm set at a 0.6. And I let the foot do the actual feeding. And once it's up there, then shorten it back down again to your original setting. I can't see. Oh, where are my glasses? There they are. Oh, yes. This is working. I pulled it off and I didn't put the, it's not correct. The needle's not swinging on the right side. Whoa. Which meant I really got away with not breaking my needle a little bit ago. If you need glasses, wear them when you're setting up the foot for sure. So I felt like pushing, and instead I lengthened the stitch length and now shortening it back down. I haven't used this machine in a long time. This is one of the hardest things you'll do with a sewing machine, is have it run full speed for a long period of time. Like doing machine embroidery. So when you want to make sure your machine is oiled before you do something like this, if you have not oiled your machine in a long time. There are sewing machines that claim that they are self-oiled machines and that you don't have to oil them. It's really not true. There's reservoirs in the machine where the sewing machine mechanic kind of impregnates them with oil so that you don't have to oil your machine as often. Somehow I have like a Long Island accent going right now. All the traveling I've done over the years, I don't really know what my accent is. This is when you kind of need something to do, because the Satinedge foot is so easy to do. What it's designed to do is this, satin stitch on the edge. And that is why I called it the Satinedge foot. Although you may know it as the magic foot because it does so many different things. Then you want to go all the way to the edge. Stop with the needle up. And I also should have said this. You go all the way to the edge and then use your reverse button. Sorry, try to make it so you can see it. Can't see it. And sew a few stitches backward. So you're stitching off the edge and then come back a little bit so that you don't end up with pulling out the thread on the corners. Then you lift the foot, which raises the actual material as well. See how that goes? You can see the fabric raises up. It's actually connected to the fabric. Then you just pull off the wire, plant your finger, and then swing it around. If you end up with a bit of slack at the needle, just pull the thread back toward the spool of thread, and then you'll see that it tightens back up again. Once again, use your glasses if you need them. If I needed them all the time, it would be easier. Just to double check, make sure you didn't mess up something, because our brains do that sometimes. Increasing the stitch length on the corners until you see it feed so that you're not pushing. And then once you see it is feeding, shorten it back down. Not too short. Make sure you know what it was before you started. Which in my case was a 0.3 on the stitch length dial. And then I am not pulling the fabric through. Just a very, very gentle touch. Making sure that the fabric never comes away from the white part of the guide. So now I can read while I'm doing this. I'm glad you've learned something today, Donna. It makes up for me designing on the fly. I should have put that in the description. I knew what I was going to do today, but I just had not sewn one yet. And I was overzealous in thinking I could bring in another machine and service it before the show. And test cameras, and I have worn my glasses on a chain before, Tina, and it's not a good thing for me. I have a song plays in my head every time I do this, and that's it. Da da dee da 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 da. Do any of you know what it is? So if you don't sew while looking around the room, then you don't have my feet. Have any of you used the Satinedge Foot and then caught yourself not watching what you're doing? It's because your brain kind of knows that you don't need to pay that much attention. And remember, I did design this for somebody who was born blind and deaf. So that's why it works like this. I hold it up so that it doesn't lean on and slow down the feeding of the fabric. That's the bunny hop song? Why do I have the bunny hop song stuck in my head? Well, that's just embarrassing. And by the way, on that stitch that I did all the way around the edge, I should have used a zero tension so I could pull it out real easy. Coming up to the end, what do? We sew all the way to the end. Use the reverse button, back up a little bit. Needle stays in the up position. Pull off the wire on the foot. Plant your finger, bring it around. Double check by turning with the hand wheel to make sure you didn't mess anything up. Lengthen your stitch length. I'm going from a 0.3 to a 0.6. Is it the chicken dance? It is the chicken dance. That's what it is. Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na, dum-dum-dum. Oh, gosh. I have no idea why that is stuck in my head. But for years, all of a sudden I'll just do that. Normally when I do this, because it's kind of boring. When it gets this easy to maintain where you are on the edge of something, and you start going, all right, I can have my lunch. It's getting thick. You're scared to stop looking? So at shows, sometimes I'll have a customer sit in the in my chair, and I have them start sewing, and then I take my hands and I go like this while they're sewing, and they're like, no, I need to see. And then I go, okay, now look, and they look and they go, ah, it's perfect. And if it were if it were just one layer of fabric, I could let go. It's just kind of heavy. And then I could, if I used a little bit longer stitch length, probably do that. But to be more consistent, you become like a little table. I try to remember everything that you guys want me to do every week. Feel free to email me requests. In fact, it was somebody saying that they had their presser fall off the table that made me design these. So you might inspire the next project. Don't feel like you're a problem if you ask questions. I just would prefer you ask them in the school so other people benefit from my answer. Because I'm only one person juggling thousands of you. Stop with the needle up, lift, pull off, and I did back up. Plant your fingers so you don't end up having a loop of thread. If you do have a loop of thread, pull the thread back to the spool. Increase your stitch length. It's easier if you lift the foot when you pull the thread back to the spool, by the way. Doesn't matter if the needle is in the left or the right swing, so don't be thinking that while you're sewing. What am I doing? Oh yeah, increasing my stitch length. I gotta use the glasses again. So you know where you're starting. Sew a little bit, shorten it back down again. Try sewing with your eyes closed. That's this week's challenge. You guys tell me how you did. And this is what you would do it with, is satin stitching on the edge of something. I didn't design this to sew everything without looking. I designed it to do this satin stitching on the edge without being able to see. It would be easier for you to do it with a single layer of material and spray start your fabric first. You can make your own napkins. There's napkin videos on my YouTube channel. Also, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, this is another video. And in that, what I did was I took a ready-made card and I embroidered using the Octi hoops, and that pattern is linked to that video. So if you type in on my YouTube channel, if you type in Valentine's in the search when you're on my actual video, or when you're on my actual channel, then you should be able to find that video, and it's a fun little project, and you could give that with this as a present to somebody. Now at the end, I'm going back over where I came, where I started, I mean, and then select a straight stitch. So a little straight stitch, that'll tie a knot, but it's also just absolutely gorgeous if you do that. And you can also, and I could go on and on. I gotta watch myself. I don't know. There it is. This is my stitch patterns. Try to make it so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that stitch. It's a forward and reverse straight stitch, which was originally designed as a stretch stitch for stretched fabric, and it is the most violent thing you can do to stretch fabric. So they meant well when they designed that. That was the beginning of stretch material. And that's how long I've been teaching. The invention of stretch fabric. Do I sound old? Do I feel old? A little bit when I say that. So with the stitch, oh, I was supposed to pay attention to what stitch number that is. So I got to go to the flowers. What's your problem? When in doubt, just turn the machine on and off again. Start over. And now number 3. Oops, wrong stitch. This may not be the same machine. How many sewing machines do you have? Did you guys do that? I'm going to look later. I don't actually know how many machines I have. I do know how many painted machines I have. No, I don't want that. That should be it. I may not be able to do this just because I don't know how to use my machine. It's definitely not doing, it's not going to the correct stitch. So this is probably just a different sewing machine. Oh well. I'm not old. Thank you. I remember the development of polyester thread. All right. So basically what I'm going to do instead is just sew a straight stitch on the side of the satin stitch. And the foot guides for you again. Come down to the corner, and this time it matters where you bring the needle down. Turn the corner and zoom, zoom. Make sure you're always centered with your needle on your machine. You'll have a much nicer time with your machine. You'll feel better. You won't sew crooked as easily. This is definitely not perfect, but, and I don't like not being perfect. And I would have done things a little bit better had I not felt like I should have given up already a couple times. I can always change the name of this video. All right, I can't wait to see. So for your well-being, use a cotton fabric, sew on the straight, not across the grain, not across the bias, and use spray starch to spray and make your fabric stiffer, which I did not do here. You have the same question? Okay. Why am I doing? Because it's pretty. It's also more secure. Oh, okay. I thought I hit the scissors. I'm going to show you up close in a minute. And then I'm going to do another row of stitching, because this is why you get little extra goodies when you watch me live. It's your reward for the torment that you go through watching me fiddle around. I went back to secure it. See if I can get a really good shot of this. This fabric's really fraying through there. Let's see. How can I give you a better view of that? Okay, brain work. Can you see that? Just kind of finishes it off. So instead of just a zigzag stitch being on the edge, there you go. See how pretty that is? I think it's pretty. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to put it back in there, and this time use a straight stitch again. However, I'm going to bring the needle into the center and have it stitch right over that satin stitch. That's the closest I can go. There we go. So now I'm sewing right over the satin stitch. Kind of the reason I'm doing this is if I can't get this roof on, I'm gonna quit, and then I'm just gonna give you guys a link to the video that I will be doing as a recap video. Why am I doing that? Because it is just the coolest thing ever. When you see this up close, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if I had done some spray starch, probably could have made that fabric not fray as much. You forgot you have an embroidery machine? I guess that you're counting up your sewing machines. After this, I could put beads on the edge. I could put cording on the edge. And what this looks like to me, that darn little fray there, messing up a perfect shot. Come on. Bear with me here. How can I do this better? That's the longest I've been quiet in a while. So you see that? Now it has a stitch on the top, a stitch on the bottom, and the satin stitch in the middle. And it's never going to fall apart. Come in. Oh, look how far out I can go. Far out. Okay, let's see Having a little bit of space in front of me would be nice. I'd like you to be able to see my perspective. And I would turn myself off, but things go wrong when I do that. So what we're trying to do is create a roof and the walls and secure this fuzzy or comfy, fluffy, quilty kind of fabric to that. Oh, that's the bottom. And since we've made it pretty with this stitch on the outside, we don't really have to worry too much about what it looks like there. It's more the back that I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. So I think I'm just going to do this. How can I make it so you can see what I'm doing? I'm going to sew from this point to that corner. Like that. And it's going to be impossible for me to make it so you can see it well. Use the satin stitch to guide me. Now open that up. I don't know how well I'm going to do. Let's see. Thank God for the foot. Because if it were up to me... Please let this work. Please let this work. This is when I call on my angels. Calling all angels, help me. Should not sit this far away from your machine. Coming up on that point. And I'm going to reverse it, even though I may have to rip it out. Because if it works, I don't want to have to do that again. And we definitely have like a cat bed idea here, I think. If I had made this, I could just say, this is a cat bed lesson. And try to cheat. I'm going to do the same thing now on this side. Oh, that's harder. I believe I can fly. I don't think the free arm's going to help me this time. Sometimes you just have to cram it in there. My brain wants to go that way, but maybe it needs to go this way. Turn this right side out. If it was an industrial free arm, and nothing makes me happier when I go, you were right. I was wrong. I'm hoping you're right. A little nervous about possible breaking needles right now. So I'm going to go slow. And the sad thing is if I get this, I have to do it again. I think it's going to work, so I'm going to reverse it now. So I don't have to do it again. You're making 4 wall hangings for friends? I love it when you guys share stuff that you make. And so does all the other people that hide in the background, the lurkers. All right. I'm using the super universal 9014 needle. Why am I doing this to myself? I just need this little crutch. Aiming for the corner. Oh, I didn't increase stitch length either. All the things I teach you. You guys must be having your own conversation. You're sitting here long enough, you bet you may as well get into your own little conversations with each other. Yeah, I'm thinking Tinkerbell would love a dog bed like this, and I've been wanting to make her a dog bed. She does not like her setup today. She has these gigantic stairs, and I can't get around, so I was going to make new stairs for her, because I was going to get so much done this week. I'm still preparing to quilt a king-size quilt with you guys. With cameras, which makes it more challenging. Almost to the corner. Only have to come up with an easier way of ending it. Of course, if it was a bigger bed, if it was a bed for a dog or a cat, it would be bigger. This would be easier if it was larger. But we're making a coffee cup garage. Lengthen your stitch length. I can't wait to see it done. I'm only at 2 hours. Wow. That's not actually bad. So it kind of does look like a little bed. Isn't that cute? If only I had planned that. I think I might just have to do that as another segment. But we want to close this back end up. So what would be the best way to do that? Since we have this pretty satin stitch. Satin stitching on the edge is kind of a cheat. You can do a lot. I didn't have to actually. Wonder if I just. We have a goal here though, and we need the free arm for it. And I'm going to show you this because if we can get the cell phone to sit on top of this, which is the goal for any of you that have popped in after I started live and don't know that's the goal. I'm switching to the pearls and piping foot. And the pearls and piping foot has this tunnel underneath it that allows for thick items to go beneath it. Last week we used it to sew pearls along the edge of, so if you want to watch last week's episode of Fabrically Speaking Live, this is what we made. And it allows you to sew piping and also sew beads on. So what I'm going to do, because what we want when we have a cell phone, it's in here somewhere. If we have our cell phone and we want to put it on something, we need it to stand up, right? And that was the goal, was to make a stand using the same items that Timtex. And if I do figure out how to get it to stay up here, we need a stand on the back. Oh my. Wouldn't it just be like amazing if this could end up being the stand? And I could go, yeah, I planned it like that. Let's see. Oh, we have a cup that's going to go in here. Well, it's definitely a coffee cup garage. And that's all I promised. And you can take a heart and have it stand up. And I will have a pattern for this. And it will have a way to put a cell phone on it. But for right now, I'm going to just figure out how to close this up so it looks good. Oh no, I need to put the beads on there in case I do make it that way. Okay. That's all right, Susan. A lot of people have joined the school and are not active yet. And once the Creative Feed Extensive opens, there will be a lot more reason to be in there. I'm almost to the point where I won't be working on organizing my studio every week and I'll just be filming. And that is when I'll be starting the Creative Feed Extensive, because I'll be able to sit here, switch cameras without having hours and hours of editing, because normally just like a 4-minute video when I edit one can take up to a week for editing. So I can use these cameras and make sure they're all in focus and switch cameras to reduce the amount of editing, so I can still produce a streamlined version of the videos, because the Creative Feed Extensive is loaded with information. You guys are going to be like, it's kind of like this, except for there's no wasted time. And I'm back to not having beads. And I know this seems like a boring color. Oh, I have so many things I could do right now. Which one should I show you? The one that has the easiest ending. But the cell phone has to be able to use that to stand up. And we don't want to block the front of the screen. I already have a couch I made for my cell phone, but it kind of covers the bottom of the screen sometimes, and I don't like that. I think I'm going to do, if I do double, oh yeah, because I might need a loop. How long is this? Want to make sure we go all the way to the other side. I'm using more than one layer because we need a bigger bump, I think, than just one layer of this. No wasted time. You guys are so kind. Just in case. Try it again. It's always so easy if you just fold everything in half. What's Chase doing? Tinkerbell. Bad, but she's all nervous because I said her name. Yeah, so we have more than we need. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it the prettiest ending, because we're going to have these two ends to cover up. And if I just plan to have the end inside and have a little loop, and as long as I have a loop on both sides, then it looks intentional. Cool. That's the word I need. Got to make sure on the, this is the front. Of course, it's the harder side, more difficult. Just giving up. It's not that late yet. Usually the dogs lose it completely by 5 my time. So I don't want to be all the rooftop. This is the hardest part, getting both layers under there. So it's going to be kind of hidden underneath stuff. Stitch. And I want to use a wider width than that. And I can see that my stitch is kind of catching this one and going way over on that side. So I'm going to take the foot off. And I slid the over to the other side, or it slid over all on its own is what happened. And for those of you who are going, what little washer? Somebody escaped from her spot. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you liking it over there? Yeah. She's like, I'm making a bed. You're making a bed on leather. It's not going to work. Ah. Are you annoyed with Mommy? And say hi, everybody. This is Tinkerbell. She was the runt of the litter. She is older than I want to say. I think she's 16. I guess I'm just going to take the foot off. Oh, there's another one. Here we go. On the actual foot itself, there's a little washer right here, and you slide it left and right. She's like, oh, I've been wanting to get on the table. So you slide it left and right. And that changes the location of the trim underneath your sewing machine needle. And it locks it in place so that you don't have to hold it afterward. She's like, am I getting a haircut? It feels like I'm getting a haircut. Just stay on your bed. I think they plot. They're like, let's distract Mommy, because eventually she'll stop sewing and we can go for a walk. And then there's a point at which it starts getting dark and they know there's no walk if it gets dark. And then they start to make little noises. It's hilarious. But I really think they team up. And they're like, okay, I'm going to try now. She didn't work. It didn't work when you did it. Maybe it'll work when I do it. So I'm figuring out the stitch length that I want. And that looks good. But I didn't start it at the end, so I'm backing back up again. And I'm bringing it in so you guys can see better. Try not to knock everything off the table that should be in my cubby. And that should be in front of my machine. Come on, camera. You can do it. Is that good? So I'm coming up on this end here, and I don't want it to be all fluffy. So a nice clean cut on that. And I'm going to take the other end and connect them when we get there. Is this a good angle, you guys? If any of you are waiting on a presser order, I'm making them tomorrow. Because I am the one who makes those pressers. I'm going to come forward a little bit, and then I'm going to go back. And now that both of them are in there, I don't have to hold on to this at all. So this can even be all messy over there. And the foot will gather them up. I should be paying attention though to how far away I am from this edge. And that's my focus. It'd be easier for me not to have it curved for my brain's sake right now. So more looking at the machine somewhere and kind of, or put your finger right there and use that as a gauge, or put a piece of tape there if you don't have paint on your machine. Paste paint your sewing machine. You can recognize little dots and flowers, and usually I have one up here, but I have the free arm open. Bye, Susan. It's okay. You don't have to apologize for not having an endless amount of hours available to hang out with me. Who wasn't paying attention? What were you not paying attention? Oh, this is the Pearls and Piping Foot Better Days. It has a tunnel underneath it. It's this one here. And just like the Satinedge Foot, it also attaches to all machines. Don't be fooled by copies. This one is mine. Mine has a washer that slides left and right on the snap-on bar. And there's a lot more to it that makes it work so much better than others. I don't know if you have our entire Creative Feet line. But we have 3 feet, and the 3 feet are capable of doing 88 different things. So my focus is on watching the fabric, making sure that I steer in the same spot, and making sure that all this inside doesn't get caught. Also making sure that the fabric feeds through and around the feed dog, or around the free arm. Free arm, feed dogs, a ruffle and a gather. What's the difference between a ruffle and a gather? And look at how much longer this loop is on this side. I messed up. So how can I correct that? I can do another cut. That's what I can do. Because it's only you and I that know that I did this. I'm a cheater. If you can cheat, cheat. That's why I use glue. You can call it cheating, or you can call it clever. I like to call it clever. How clever is it to not have any idea how long to make something, and it doesn't matter? Well, Better Days, because I don't know what your name is. I think you've told me your name before, but it escapes me. I like Better Days, though. I love saying it. Better Days. I think other people do, too. Because I've had phone conversations with people and they go, yeah, and Better Days said something, your name sticks. Maybe I need a different name. Okay, so now I'm going to back up a little. And instead of, yeah, no, I have to go around the other way. Okay, I'm going to cut the thread. Nope, why can't I? Don't you love it when your machine yells at you? No, 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 no. So that has... Whoa, that was really close. You can see some evidence of the cording beneath it. You can also then, you could go over it again if you want, if you didn't do it short enough, because actually I had a different stitch length at one point and then I lengthened it, so I am not happy with how it looks. So I'm going to go back in. And do it again, and this time shorten stitch length. And now I don't really need to pay attention to anything other than making sure it continues to feed, because the foot is riding over the cording. And this is where I don't like what it looks like. See? Ah. That's all you get to see of my messes. Well, you're very clever, Better Days. What is your name? You don't have to tell me. You guys are such troopers to still be here. Thank you for joining me for this, our 5th episode of Fabrically Speaking in Season 2. I promise that every week I'm going to get a little bit better. And know that I'm doing my best, as always, to bring you things that you may enjoy. And to help you to see that you can do these things. Feel free to join my school, Create with Clare Rowley. It's on the Mighty Networks network. The app is inside of the App Store for both the Play Store and the Apple Store. And it is a free school. There will be some classes in there that you pay for. So now it looks, oops, can't see. Looks a lot better. And I can even do another straight stitch to the top, but I've already done that to you already once. So now let's just figure out how to button up the back side of this. I sure think this camera looks great if it would just not get overheated. It's a different kind of camera than I'm using for the front. It reminds me of a bonnet. So we just want to sew this little bonnet closed. Kind of like a covered wagon. And if it weren't stiff fabric, we could gather it up. But since it is a stiffer material, I'm thinking this is a good solution for it. To stitch those together and then stitch that down. So then I go, okay, what's better? Better Days. Hi, Lorinda. Are you going to make one? Are any of you going to make one of these? I got to work on this pattern right away. I can't finish the pattern until I make the pressers, though. But I'll work on it this weekend so that you'd have time to make one for Valentine's Day. Does that look good, or how else can we do it? Oh, see? This can be used as the stand part. So now I just need to I'm going to overlap the two seams, I think. Come there. We want to go all the way up. I'm going to button it up. This ought to be fun. Oh my goodness. Well, bear with me as I don't think I can get a camera angle that'll allow you to see this. Can the sewing machine even do it? Does it need to? Let's see. We just need a straight stitch. Now you know why pattern designers don't show you how they design patterns live. And last week I had stuff all done and I'd already made it. So it was easy. Turn it inside out. I'm listening. Because I'm tired and I haven't had my lunch enough. Ah. Jeez, Lorinda. You're a lifesaver. It's like, well, duh. Of course that's easier. It's easy if we just sew it like this and we don't have it pretty on the back. And in this case, I am going to use the Pearls and Piping Foot. Zoom in. Am I already zoomed in? Am I already zoomed in? Whoa, not yet. Hopefully I'm not making any of you dizzy. Using my left needle position. So unfortunately we're going to lose the pretty on the back, but it's on the back. Who cares? Oh. Sometimes I vroom, 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 vroom my foot control. That's what you're hearing. If you're catching all of the sound with the mic. I think this is going to work really good, actually. If I'm looking proud of myself, it's because I'm pretending to be proud of myself. But actually, this is what makes me believe in angels. When you feel like quitting, which how many times did I say that? Maybe I should just quit. Look at, it's a perfect little bed. Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta pull it out here. Too close. Look at. I'm not sure what we're going to use the loops for, but I was thinking it might be helpful to hold the cell phone up. But now this little thing can be the back. No, I didn't do that close enough. There goes that song again. I almost did it. It's cute. It's not holding up without the cup. My phone's too heavy. Still cute, I think. And it'll keep the coffee warm longer. So what I was thinking to hold this up more would be beads. I'm sure there's someone in there with an idea, but know this, that the real pattern, actually just sewing a stitch across this will strengthen the roof of this. It's without the coffee cup. This is, I want it to stay up as I drink it. Because I watch videos on my cell phone while I get ready and I have my coffee. With the pearls and piping foot, you have the ability to do things that you normally wouldn't. Now, what do I have? It seems like pearls would actually almost do it. Pearls all the way up there. I think I should stop and you guys decide. It's 4:43. Should I push through 15 minutes and try to make this stronger with beads? You actually have the ability to like stick something in there that's pretty firm, like a cell phone. Where's my phone? I can't find it. I think it serves its purpose. I didn't say cell phone stand when I announced this video, but I think I achieved it. You got to see me make a little garage for your coffee cup, and it snugs it. And I think I could make that even like a little bit thicker. So adding maybe polyfill in there. And then when you pull out your mug, you just have your mug. I will update you and let you know how it goes when I actually use it. And I'm going to revise this and make it so it's not such a challenge. Do you guys like it? Thumbs up if you like it. That cute? You love it? Yay, you guys are so easy to please. I'm just kidding. So basically today, I'm going to ask you guys what you think. Today I wanted to wear this other outfit. It's actually this thing that they make out of a scarf material, and it's one piece and you slip it on. And you wear it like a jacket, and it's sleeveless. And if you lift your arms, you look like 15 inches bigger on both sides. So I've never worn it. And I go in the closet and I look at this beautiful fabric every day and I just really want to wear that fabric. How can I wear it? And I was thinking about making a scarf out of it. And I actually spent like 2 hours this morning trying to make it into a scarf. It's not really a scarf though. It looks like a blouse. It looks like a layered blouse, so it flatters you and it hides your tummy, and you can wear it like under a jacket and wear a different shirt beneath it, and nobody even knows you're not wearing. It's kind of like a fake blouse, but it looks like a scarf and it's flowing. It's very pretty. That's one of the projects that I'm going to be coming up with a pattern for you guys, because I am self-conscious about my tummy. Any more questions before I call it a day? Because we're almost at 3 hours. You have one of what, Tina? Oh, one of those things. Do you wear it? Do you wear it, Tina, or do you sit there and go, do you feel like I do, like it increases our size? So yeah, I spent 2 hours trying to make it look good because I was loving it. So you might have seen me, I think it was the Christmas video, and I had this beautiful blouse. I love it. But it's just stupid design on the bottom. It looks really, really cute, except for the undershirt is a stretch material and the blouse comes down like a V. And then the undershirt, because it's stretchy, slides up. And so unless you are completely flat and have no round tummy, the top moves up and you can see your size on the side, and I'm not for that. I'm for hiding it as best I can. I want to feel good when I go out, don't you? Yeah, I want to look pretty, and I'm not skinny. So I'm going to be working on things like that. Things that we can wear where we feel pretty. And those of you who are skinny, well, you already have an easy time when you go shopping. Maybe not. I shouldn't speak for anyone. But yeah, and upcycling something that you already have, isn't that always a plus? I have this awesome dog walking bag that I made from a pair of blue jeans. And I was going to release it. And each time I design something, my son's always like, you got to stop designing things that are something that can be sold in stores, because you really should sell that in stores. And so this is the kind of thing too, you know. We're going to be coming up with a deal for Etsy sewers. Something I'll be talking about. So if you want to earn money but you don't want to start your own business and you want to sew for money, we're going to start launching some of the things that are really inventions, not just sewing patterns. And I'm starting a what's it called? Nonprofit called the Hat Box Projects. We already have the website address for that. And the Hat Box Project is boxes full of things you buy and then you make them and then you donate. You put everything you made back in the box and it goes to the charity. Something I've been wanting to do for about 5 years now. Because don't you just sometimes want to make something but you don't really want to own it? Because it's just so much fun to make things, right? Those of you who are makers. And you'd like to do that, Brenda? So I will let you know. There'll be certain items that we'll want to make and sell and give you guys the opportunity. So we just send you send you everything you need to make it. There is rules. It can't be a smoking house. And if you have animals, you need to kind of keep the animals away from the fabric for people who have allergies. Kind of like when you cook and you make things for people that you're going to sell the food, you have to have a kitchen that's clean. So you have to have a room that's like fur-free. So we'll see. Know that all of that came into my head this morning to finally do it now that the studio's getting there. So I will have a video for each one. Should you ever want to make money off of any of the projects that I come up with, just knock something off the table. You need to contact me. You can sell to a certain extent on Etsy, but you can't launch a big, deal with Walmart or something without bringing me in. So that's the kind of thing. Because I want to keep coming up with these ideas. I have several more. that we didn't launch, but I didn't film because they were just too good of an idea, according to my son. He's a pretty smart kid, so man. He's going to be 35 this month. I remember when he was born. Of course, I better. Okay, you guys, now I'm rambling. Fluffy is me. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to scroll through for a minute and make sure I didn't miss anything that you guys really need me to answer right now. I always have the cutest tops. Oh, thank you, Sandy. And once upon a time, I could wear all those tops without feeling like I needed a jacket. Add a pom-pom on the point for Santa hat. Are you thinking of this? Oh, he could be a Santa, huh? There's a lot we can do. Sewing is a wonderful thing, isn't it? An art that brings joy and comfort to other people and to ourselves. Well, it looks like only like 5 of you are in here. Of course, for those of you, if I haven't responded to you, for some reason I cannot see all of your comments. And if you made any, whatchamacallits, super chats, I don't get to see them in here. We're working on it. I might have to switch to a different way to go live. I don't know. And we're also going to make it, because I had some people ask saying that they wanted to donate to help the channel, but they didn't want to use YouTube. So we're going to figure out how you can donate using another app like Venmo or something like that, for those of you who want to support the channel. So Susan, what were you making, and are you finished? Did I talk long enough for you to finish an entire sewing project? The glue is your best friend, you guys. Don't feel like you're cheating. You're just being really smart by using it. Okay, well, I will, as always, kind of look through here. Patreon, I do have a Patreon account, except for we never really kicked it in. So it'll look like we have no followers at all. And they do take a considerable amount of the money. So I think that's why some people are like, you should do it another way where you get all the money instead of giving it to them. So we'll work it out, and I'm investigating and learning from other creators on how to do things. I love your opinions, though. What? Ko-fi. I'll have to look into it, because we could definitely use another computer. So we have this right now. I have to like switch back and forth between that camera and that one. So you don't see this one a lot because I forget. But if it has its own computer, then I can switch back and forth faster. And then, of course, whatever's going on with that other one. Why it's making me all blurry. These are the things. I pronounce it coffee time. No, I think it's maybe Irish coffee time. I love you guys so very much. Thank you for being a participant in the beginning of this show, and every week we get more and more people joining us. It's awesome, and I hope that you feel safe and loved here, and that you don't hesitate to comment. I look forward to every Thursday. You should have seen me jumping around today, and if I didn't spend all that time trying to make the scarf blouse thingy, I would have had one already made. So I was naughty. But I think it worked out okay. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And I love you guys. See you next week. Mwah. Bye. Hope to see you guys next Thursday. Stay safe. Be well.